Disclaimer, I've literally been playing Spellbreak for less than a week. I'm really new to the game. I got access to the NDA version of Spellbreak about like 5 months ago, I'd say. But I still haven't played it that much. While the NDA was still up, I played maybe 1 or 2 matches, only because I couldn't stream or make YouTube videos. And at the time I was streaming, I couldn't really play games when I wasn't streaming, so Spellbreak wasn't really on the table. But now, NDA is lifted, so now I'm rocking it, and I'm playing it literally every single day, man. Every single day, and I'm loving it. And today, I come home from work. Boom! We got release number 19 for the patch notes, so we're going to be covering this, and I'm sure that they've changed a lot. I feel like I've learned a lot within the week I've been playing, or like the 5 or 6 days. Still a lot more I need to learn. I probably have less than 24 hours game time on it still, just because I can only go a couple hours every night once I'm home from work. But when I was watching a little bit of gameplay earlier while I was at work in the washroom on the toilet on my phone when I should have been working, looking at Spellbreak, I saw some pretty sick stuff. And there are some new classes that are in this patch, which I'm really, really excited to look forward to. Getting the Storm. Hey, Breakers. Here's a full breakdown of everything coming in release 19, Scouting the Storm. This patch is not live as of the time of this posting, but should be coming in the next day or so, which is up right now. Lastly, this is the first set of patch notes that isn't covered by the NDA. Yo, let's go! NDA being lifted is so fucking huge for this game. I'm so glad I can just like stream this game now and actually get beast at it. Important during closed alpha, Spellbreak is only available on the Epic Games Store and additional plan. Okay. Now, on to the patch notes. Oh, new features. The Scout class has been added. So we got a new class, boys. We got 12 now total. The Scout brings the following skills. Foresight, Invigorate, Shot Caller, Tracking. We got those 4. Foresight lets us see upcoming shrine locations. Invigorate, every 3 seconds increases your and your nearby teammates' sprint speed by 15, 20, and 25% for 4 seconds. And that's every 3 seconds. That's pretty good, man. That's almost always up. I wonder if that stacks with the boots, though. So you could have 50% like speed boost total between 25% speed boost from the boots, and then also from Invigorate. Shot Caller decreases your spell damage by 30%, but increases damage done to targets from any source by 15, 20, and 25% for 3 seconds. Decreases your spell damage by 30%, but increases damage done to targets from any source. Alright, so this is definitely something that'd be really good for when you're playing in squads. Tracking. Targets you hit are outlined for you and your team for 2 to 6 seconds. That's definitely a support class. You get to see upcoming shrine locations. You get to boost your teammates' damage by 25% at level 3. And you get to increase their speed. So if someone has this... If someone has Scout, if someone has the Scholar class, you have a rune buff, and you have a speed buff, and you also have a fucking damage buff. It's actually pretty disgusting. The leaderboards, oh, there's class leaderboards too. So before, the leaderboards were only between the wins you would have from solos, duos, and squads. But with class leaderboards, you could be someone that mains like Scholar and right now Scout and see how that goes. If you do really well with that, shoot, man, you could be number 1 in a class, but like top 300 in wins. Interesting. Can you be the greatest toxicologist? Maybe. Added player exile count to the in-game HUD. Yo, dude, thank you, man. So many times I'd be playing and I'd be wondering, how many people have I killed so far? You know, sometimes you get an assist or something like that, and you have no idea. But being able to see your exiles, you got to see how many kills you have. You know, it's a BR. Literally, it's a battle royale right now. The fracture can now be seen. Oh. The Hollow Lands are no longer surrounded by water, but by a sea of clouds. Don't fall off. That I want to see. Okay. Full redesign of the Dead Moss region, including the Castle Bogmore and Dead Moss areas. So those areas are going to look new. We'll definitely do a run-through of those then. We'll do a run-through of the Dead Moss and Castle Bogmore areas and see what the differences are with how they look. Added a drop-down to the audio settings that displays all voice chat audio outputs. This fixes some of the previous issues players experienced. Added a drop-down to the audio settings that displays all voice chat audio outputs. This fixes some of the previous issues players experienced voice chat. Yo, bro, I've got a heavy stutter. I hope you like it. Added support for several advanced mouse control options in the settings menu. Separate Y-axis sensitivity, mouse smoothing, and mouse FOV scaling. Another very requested feature that should give you much more flexible control. When in the party, players will now see their teammates' avatars are on the main menu. That'll be really good so you can actually see what they look like when you're in the game. Balance changes. Okay. So they changed the stone gauntlet a little bit. Shockwave's hitbox has had its height and width reduced to better match its visuals. The size of the old hitbox often resulted in a player being hit when visually it looked like they shouldn't have been. Shockwave's base velocity has been reduced from 65 to 50 meters per second. This change has two intended effects. The old speed made Shockwave too easy to use long distance, and coupled with the above hitbox, too easy to hit. Two, again, coupled with the old hitbox, are fast enough that client and server communication would result in other clients thinking they dodged a hit but still be damaged. Yeah, man, the stone gauntlets were definitely OP. Maybe not OP, but like god tier compared to other gauntlets, man. If you had a wind gauntlet and a stone gauntlet, you're pretty much set because you can get up in the air and slam back down pretty quickly. Stone, I felt like, did more damage than almost all the other gauntlets except for maybe the toxic and like a really good flame gauntlet user. And frost, fully charged. Chronomaster runes. The rewinding lock has been removed. So before, when you would use the Chronomaster rune to rewind back 4 seconds and get your health back, you couldn't actually do any attacks or anything at all after you would do the rewind, which would kind of screw you over because then you couldn't defend yourself if you were in the middle of a fight. Players are now free to cast spells and other actions while their vitals are being restored. This is a big buff and should make Chrono feel much more viable. Note, vitals are still restored over time and can be interrupted by taking damage. The Dexterous Amulet was upgraded from rare to epic rarity. A bit too powerful to be rare, okay. Reinforced belt went from uncommon to rare. The Behemoth Amulet, mana cost reduction has been lowered from 20% to 15%, and cast speed increase has been lowered from 25 to 20%. A bit too dominant. A bit too dominant, even at its rarity, and needed to be toned down a smidge. Oh man, and they reduced the Behemoth belt from 100 to 50 armor. That was a great belt to be using too. Behemoth, no! But there are so many good belts though, like, fuck. This, on the other hand, was much too powerful, especially when combined with its other effects and armor gain abilities. Man, if anyone had a Behemoth belt, they became really tanky. Because you got armor, you got health. And I'm pretty sure you had rune cooldown too on top of that. I may be wrong with that third one, but I'm not too sure. Okay, so they changed some things here. Scavenger is one of the most popular classes for both the flexibility and power it provides at very little cost. This should pull it more into line with other classes while still remaining popular and powerful. Finest wares. Lowered cast speed and damage reduction from 10, 15, and 20% to 5, 10, and 15. That's pretty good, because before Finest wares was pretty much like a must and really fucking good. It was just a great buff. Lowering your cast speed and you take less damage too on the same time, that's pretty nasty. Finest wares gave too much power for very little investment, and as inventory became easier and easier to manage, the downsides to this became negligible. Finders Keepers no longer ensures the item is rare or better. Now it's just an extra item. The current Finders Keepers could result in a huge leg up in the early game with a few lucky rolls. This change means you'll still be able to turn on Finest wares quickly, but won't be swimming in powerful gear from just a few chests. That's really good too, because before, with Finders Keepers, you could pop 4 or 5 chests, and that would come, if you got lucky enough, 4 or 5 legendaries, and that's a disgusting start to a game. Tempest Slipstream. The buff wears off after 3 seconds now instead of 10 seconds. After the change to mana regen accounting for max mana, the Slipstream could easily result in players having nearly mana. This should dial it back while still retaining its usefulness. Yeah, Slipstream is pretty fucking good though before, where if you popped it down and you stayed up in the air with lightning, you could keep just, you know, popping off your gauntlet and pretty much have infinite mana. But now you can't do that. Which is, you know, it makes sense. I get it. I like that. Okay. Visual changes. So chests have a new look. Each type of chest has its own visual representation now. But rune, gauntlet, and I guess whatever else could be stuff. I guess maybe. This lets you tell at a distance what sort of stuff you might find in a chest. They added a unique animation for the stone sorcery, so when you're tossing your boulders, looks probably different now. I'm curious as to what that looks like. Polished main menu idle animations. They made potion. Okay, so they just made a whole bunch of stuff look better, like potion drinking, the featherfall animation transition, the main menu. They reduced the opacity on the sorcery cooldown overlay for improved ability. Also reduced the size of numbers on rune and gauntlet cooldowns. They made better video effects for Shadow Step, Wolf's Blood, and Featherfall runes, and the Frost Source. Map changes. So they added shrines to the practice map. They polished the landscape along the southern side of the lobby and around the bridge near Whitgrave. They removed some floating loot from one of the small forts. They fixed a physics bug. Okay, this one here I remember too. They fixed a physics bug that prevented players from walking under archways of a bridge near Halcyon Pass without jumping. That actually happened to me, I think, either yesterday or the day before. And I didn't know what was going on, but then I realized it must have just been a bug or something like that. Polished the landscape areas north and west of Deadmoss. Updated map and mini-map to reflect the changes to Deadmoss. Okay, so Deadmoss is definitely going to be looking a lot different. So we're going to go check that out and Halcyon Pass. Was it Halcyon Pass or was it something else that they changed visually? No, it was Castle Bogmore and Deadmoss. That's what they changed. So Deadmoss and Castle Bogmore. Alright, so Deadmoss has changed. Was it Halcyon? It wasn't Halcyon Pass. What was the other one? I keep forgetting. Deadmoss and Castle Bogmore. We got to remember that, chat. Sculpted map edges to accommodate clouds. They adjusted the level bound areas to play nice with clouds. Okay. Removed fog from the lobby area and did a lighting pass on the world. So I wonder how different it looks now. Improvement for load times, especially on machines with slower hard drives. Various performance and memory usage improvements. So that's really good, man. The game already ran. Listen, Spellbreak, even if you think it's a really good looking game, which it is, it runs really, really, really well, man. So whatever system you have, I guarantee you it's going to run okay for you. You could be running on a Pentium 2 from fucking 1995 and you got like 32 megabytes of RAM, dude. I guarantee you this game is going to be running crispy smooth. Wait, would something crispy even be smooth? Chat, would something crispy even be smooth? No, it wouldn't. It's gonna be buttery smooth, okay? And it's gonna be running really. Listen, it's a really well optimized game in my opinion. I've got a GTX 1080, a Ryzen 1700X at 3.6 gigahertz and 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I feel like it's gonna be. It's just a well-made game, even though it's an alpha still, early alpha. And it's optimized well, so give it a try and don't worry about it not being able to run well on your machine, because I guarantee you that it will. You got the Tewn guarantee. Bunch of bug fixes too. Changing your name in the Epic Games launcher will now update your in-game name as expected. Updated all in-game text to ensure consistency and clarity. Fixed a bug that was causing errant video effects to trigger near the edge of the screen for some runes. That never happened to me. Fixed an unintended exploit with Cold Snap and Chronomaster rune. Players with Flesh to Stone are no longer revived at full health and armor. I never had that happen to me. Everything in here that's a bug fix is pretty solid then. Loot can sometimes float after coming out of a vault and colliding with objects. That happens a lot too. Boulder can appear to explode at different points of its trajectory to different players. That's a big one. That's a big one. Because you could be tossing a boulder and then all of a sudden it just blows up when it's still actually going on someone else's screen. And that's pretty huge. That's a big thing. So yo, those are the patch notes. And I feel like they added a lot. The Stone Gauntlet's going to be looking different. Chronomaster got updated. So now when you actually pop it, you can, act afterwards. You don't have a 3 or 2 second cooldown, however long it was. They improved the lighting in the game. They changed the edge of the map so it doesn't just fall off into nothingness or the ocean. Now there's fog. There's a new class, the Scout class, which is support, which is awesome, but maybe it'll have a place in solo. I really don't think it will, though, which is unfortunate. So I can't really try it out right now on stream unless I played it with people. But we can try that. You know what? Yeah, we could do some random squads and try out Scout. Possible, right? See how it goes. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. It came from a stream that I recorded a couple days ago. I'm going to be playing lots of Spellbreak going on in the future from now until, well, who knows. I'm having a blast playing the game. Again, like I said in the video, I'm only a few days in, but I'm getting better by the day. I stream the game on Twitch at twitch.tv/Tewn. There'll be a link in the description below. I have a lot more videos to come, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day.